When you watch this clip, you might notice something interesting and unusual. I'll give you guys a second. No, not the dunk, which was pretty cool, but him. The guy who's literally 5 to 6 inches shorter than the next shortest guy on the court, and who really doesn't look like the rest of the guys he's playing with. Well, that's JJ Barea. And as you'll know by the end of this video, there's really nothing funny about him. He's pretty damn good, and he's carved out a space for him and even legend status on one of this generation's notable powerhouse teams. So, in this video, I want to answer a few very important questions. Number 1, how is it that a guy who's significantly smaller than his opponents, in a sport that clearly rewards height, compete and even dominate at times? Number 2, how tall is JJ Barea really? And number 3, which personally I find the most important, can he even dunk? Well, there's been much debate as to how tall JJ Barea really is, and if you do a quick Google search, you might find that he's 5'10", but when I dug a bit deeper, I found he was quoted saying, "I remember laughing when they said 6 feet, because me and about 20,000 other people there knew that was a lie. I'm 5'10", on a good day." And I think if we take a look at some pictures, we're pretty much able to confirm this. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and guess JJ Barea without shoes on is about 5'9" flat. And I mean, whatever, that's a pretty average height, but again, in the NBA, it's definitely not. And to be honest with you guys, it kind of makes me want to give the whole pro basketball thing another shot. But regardless what exactly he is, we can be sure JJ Barea is at least 6 to 7, even up to 9 inches shorter than the average NBA height, which I think really speaks to his game and how he's able to compensate for that. And this all brings us to question number 1, how? JJ Barea was never the most infamous athlete, and by no means has his path pointed to a certain NBA future. He would average 20 points in high school, would help lead his team to a state title in Puerto Rico. JJ would then attend Northeastern, where he would lead his team as a freshman and even become the first freshman in Husky history to score 400 points and 100 assists in a single season. He would go on to average a little over 20 points and 5 assists as a sophomore, and 22 and 7 as a junior. He would also score a career high of 40 points his junior year. And finally, as a senior, he would get a list of awards and honorable mentions. He would again lead Northeastern and finish 3rd in the nation in assists. He concluded his collegiate career with the 2nd most points ever scored at Northeastern with 2,209. But even after all of this, he goes undrafted. He would then bounce around G League teams for years, and it is at this point where we can point to what would be just one of the few reasons JJ Barea has had such an unlikely and successful basketball career. He would name patience and a passion for the game as 2 of the main contributing factors. It was at this time the future of his basketball career was at a peak of uncertainty. It was obvious no team was ready to take a chance on him. In an ESPN article, he reflects on this time saying, quote, "I got to the NBA where I had to be very patient again because I was undrafted." Barea stated, "But I got opportunities and took advantage of those opportunities. When things went badly, I stayed positive and kept working on my game. And thank God, things have worked out well for me." But we can also obviously point to JJ Barea's game when answering how he's able to hang in the NBA. And personally, I think there's a lot to learn from this, and especially for basketball players who may be undersized. JJ Barea embraces, and you could even make the argument, uses his size to his advantage. He consistently uses what most consider his biggest weakness as his biggest strength. And let me explain. JJ simply is able to outmaneuver his defenders, and this is especially true in the paint when finishing. He's almost acrobatic, and he relies much more heavily on finesse and situational awareness when finding the basket, whereas the defender in the paint is often simply not equipped or quick enough to properly defend it. And when they try to be, they will often overcompensate with their bigger frame, and this is where JJ is able to use that contact and draw a foul. You might think of Steph Curry, Steve Nash, or Tony Parker, who are all undersized guards who have also learned to do this especially well. And I'll add, when the defense overcompensates, it always exposes opportunity, whether it be finishing with contact or finding an open man. And just like in many of our other videos when diving deep into how undersized guards have mastered their movement and awareness, namely Chris Paul, this is especially true with JJ Barea. You can play off of him where with his elite shooting abilities, you will get punished. Or you could try to bully him with superior size, and will get cleverly outmaneuvered. Basically, he's able to jump into space and find openings that a larger man couldn't utilize, and then create scoring angles with his stability in the air. I think what's interesting about him is that he and the young Isaiah Thomas might be two of the only players who would not be better if they were taller, which is very interesting. But again, I say this to reiterate the fact that being small could actually be his greatest strength. JJ Barea is also very strong. His basketball IQ is a 10 out of 10. He's unselfish and knows how to set his teammates up. He's a great teammate on and off the court. And to sum it up, all of the things that come to mind when you think of a great point guard, he has those. The only thing he lacks is height. But just like other greats who have come before him, he makes up with superior quickness, craftiness, and simply put, an understanding of the game. And to top it all off, he's actually surprisingly athletic. And this all brings us to our final question. Can JJ Barea dunk? Yeah, he actually can. And you know what? That's pretty cool. JJ Barea has taken what many see as disadvantages and handicaps and turned them into things that could actually play in his favor. It's a philosophy that reaches far beyond basketball, and I think that's the main lesson here. Beyond that, over the years we've watched the city of Dallas and the Mavericks fan base truly embrace him. He's become a fan favorite, not necessarily because he's the best player the Mavericks have had, he's far from it, but because he represents something the common man could relate to and learn from. And in that way, he's much more than the smallest person on the court, and as a matter of fact, in a lot of ways, he's the biggest on the court. Of course, the legend and Mavericks owner, Mark Cuban, was able to recognize this as well. Just recently, the Mavericks and JJ would finally split paths. Although JJ had just signed a one-year, $2.6 million contract, it's widely believed that this was done with the intention of releasing him anyways, which sure enough did happen. The Mavericks were never planning on using him this last season. The contract was essentially a $2.6 million thank you, which I don't think could have been more appropriate.
And the fans, you guys don't know how it feels when I go in the game and the fans, what they do, and I just enjoy it, So Dallas is always gonna be the best special place, yeah.
What's up guys, if you're still here, thank you. I want to take a second to thank our sponsor Infinity Wake for making these videos possible. They're a cutting-edge athletic company with athletes like Drew Holiday, Pascal Siakam, and Derrick Rose using their equipment. And in the first link down below is a code to get $10 off. Thanks for watching, and from your favorite 50,000 subscriber hopefuls, Courtical Hoops, see you on the next one.